I'm live, and if anybody joins me, do comment or just say hello in the comments, and I'll keep going with what I'm doing here. So I came on not so long ago, and I was showing you how to teach a group of children how to crochet. So I go over a little bit about that, but I realised there's quite a few other things that maybe I'd forgotten. So first of all, when I teach latch hook crochet, the first thing that you start with is a slip knot, and I don't teach the slip knot to begin with, and that is because if you've watched my other video, you'll see the sort of process that I'm using with yarn over, pincer fingers, and back to your busy finger. Now I'll show you how to do the slip knot, and you'll see that it's very similar. So if they already know the process, then they will get the idea of how to do this slip knot, which is so easy. So first of all then, they're going to hold the hook quite high and put the yarn over away from them. I always say it's like take the end of your yarn, and it's like throwing the ball over a net. So it's going to go over. So we do that first. It's going to go over the net, and then you put your busy finger on it, and then you can see you need quite a long tail end. The words that I use are really important, that we call everything that we're using in the same way. So I always refer to this piece as the tail end. Okay, so you're going to go and take the tail end, which is away from you. It's a little bit difficult because we're back to front, aren't we? So I'm going to go, I sometimes say just put your hand down towards your thumb and take it from the back and bring it round so that you've got a cross in front of you. And then put your yarn over the end like that. And if you're holding it up, it should stay there. Now this is where the pincer finger thing comes in, because they've already done this, and all you have to do to make the slip knot is to put pincer fingers, pull it over, and the latch will open, close on its own, bring it round the end like we did before, and then put your busy finger on it there. And you'll need to tighten that loop there. So you could do that with two hands, pull it up like that and tighten it. Okay, a little bit tricky, but it needs to be tight. And that is your slip knot. And you can see why I teach that after I've taught them how to do the chain length. Okay, so that's your slip knot. I'm going to do that again, and I'll show you how easy it is to do. So I'm not going to do it slowly as if I'm teaching. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. Yarn over and just pull, and that's a slip knot. That is how quick and easy it is, and that's how I do it because I've been doing it a long time. And eventually you'll get to do it the same. So, and the children soon get to do that too. So I'm going to carry on there. The next thing that I have to consider when teaching is whether they are left-handed or right-handed. And I tend to ask them straight away, is anybody left-handed? And unfortunately, I teach them last because they're usually in the minority. So I will say to the children in front of me, who's left-handed? They put the hand up, and I say, you can sit next to me on this side, and we'll come to you when I'm ready. I don't tell them you're going to be the last. It's not very nice to have to say that because they're left-handed, is it? So yeah, that's another thing that I have to say to them if they're left-handed. The other thing that I also do is I ask them how old they are, and I tend to think that the eldest, if there's quite a range in their ages, I tend to think that the eldest are going to be the brightest. It's not always the case, but that is how I can suddenly get started, and I teach the brightest first. And the reason why I do that is because they will everybody will watch what's going on, and we'll all be saying at the same time and repeating ourselves, yarn over, pincer fingers, back to your busy finger, and we'll all be repeating that, and they're watching at the same time so they can see what they're doing. And the ones who are already doing it will then start to teach the others. And if you can see a bright child who's really getting on and an older child say, can you help she's struggling a bit, can you help her with that? And that is how the group starts to work, and you encourage children to be helpers as well as the learners. So that's another good tip. Okay, so I'm trying to think of any other tips that I usually use. So it's yarn over, pincer fingers, and back to your busy finger. I'm going to hold it up a bit more. I don't know whether you could see this on the last video. Someone suggested to me, prop your iPad up a little bit more. So this is what I've done in this video. And I'm sitting here on a stool perched up. So we'll see if it works. So here we go. So it's yarn over, pincer fingers. Now, I'm saying that because I've been doing this for years. So I'm quite quick at doing this. The one thing that you sometimes get, and I had a little girl called Lucy, and she already could crochet, and she hadn't done much more than a chain length, but she was already using a different hold. Now, I don't know whether you know this, but if you're learning to crochet, there's two ways of holding your yarn. There's pencil hold, you can see as if you're writing, that's pencil hold, and the other hold is this one is knife hold. So when we teach lateral crochet, we always teach knife hold, and you point with your finger. So this is knife hold. And when I learned to crochet, I learned how to crochet, and I just automatically went on to doing it with the knife hold. So when I'm carrying on with this, you can see that I can get going quite quickly by yarning over like this, and I'm actually holding it underneath. I don't teach it like that because I think it's easier with the pincer fingers idea. So this is how let's see if I can do this. This is how I'm doing it, and I don't teach this. I think at the end of the day they'll find their best way of getting a bit quicker with it. And while I'm on with this, people say to me, can you do all the traditional stitches? Well, I tend to teach just chain and slip stitch. So we're doing a chain there, and a slip stitch is where you hook in. So I've hooked into the chain length and yarn over, and you pull it through 2, and that is a slip stitch. So if you were doing, one of the first things you can do if you're making a bracelet is to do some chains, make a chain length. Talk to children like that. It is a chain length. Don't call it a chain. We automatically think it's a chain. The chains are each one of the stitches. They're the chains. This is always a chain length. So we make a chain length, and you hook into your chain length like that. It isn't the easiest thing to do when you've having to hook into a chain length or chain. So there we go, and you can make a slip stitch like that. And we use a slip stitch all the time. So it might be that, and it's very organic, it's very experimental the way I teach it. So it might be that you're saying to the children, this is a petal. I also call it a bridge because it's a bridge shape, if you see that. And you hook into the petal or your bridge shape, yarn over, and then you've got a loop there and a chain length there, or your bridge there, and you yarn over and you pull it through both of them. So you're pulling through 2, and that's your slip stitch. It's a bit awkward because we've just learned how to do a slip knot, and the one stitch that we learn is the slip stitch. That's the traditional stitch, is a slip stitch like that. But I tend to just use those 2 stitches. Now, I've also said in the last video that I talked about the gap, and I use that a lot. I say to children, do you know what the gap is? Open your gap, close your gap. If I'm watching, I'm saying, yeah, you're doing it nicely, but close the gap. And they know what I mean. So here's the gap. And I did say in the last video that if you yarn over in the gap, you can yarn over once, you can yarn over twice, you can yarn over as many times as you want. That will fit on there. But I'm just going to do those. I'm going to do 3, and then you can see I've got 3 yarn overs, and then you yarn over the end. So instead of pulling 1 stitch over, you pull all of them over like that. and that's called a bullion stitch in traditional crochet. I learned a lot of freeform crochet, and the bullion stitch is used a lot in freeform crochet because it's quite a textural type of stitch, and you can, when people who are experienced in doing the freeform crochet, they sometimes turn towards a latch hook to do it because it's hard with just a traditional hook. If you're going to yarn over lots of times, it can make a little bump like that. Sometimes you could call it a spring stitch if you want, because it's like a little spring. So there you go, you can yarn over lots and lots of times. It does have to be loose. If you do it tight, it becomes difficult. So I've yarned over lots of times. I'll do that again so it's on the screen, because I wasn't on the screen. So I've got my busy finger on the loop there, and I'm yarning over from the back to the front there, lots of times. And if you can see, I'm using my busy finger just to pull them along a bit, just to control those loops on the hook. And then they go into the gap, yarn over the end, and then with your pincer fingers, pull them off together and bring your loop back to your busy finger. And that's a bit bigger this time. It's a bullion stitch. So one of the first things they can do is a bullion stitch bracelet. Okay, and all they need to do is just, you can do a chain in between, or you don't have to count. You can just do lots. Pull it over, yarn over, just make a chain, and then yarn over again. And this is such a fun thing to do, like that, pulling them all off. And you wouldn't do this so easily with a traditional hook. So straight away you can see the advantage of using a latch hook, and those are bullions. So those are some of the ideas. Hopefully I've remembered them all. And if you would like to subscribe at this point, please hit the notification bell, then you'll know when I've come on and done another video. And also subscribe, press the subscribe button, and then you'll be able to watch more of my videos, and you'll know when they come out. So thank you for watching again, and hopefully this has added a little bit more to how you teach a group of children. I've taught groups of children in school, I've taught children in brownie groups, I've taught them locally. I do have a crochet caravan, and I have children come there to learn how to do crochet out there. So yeah, there's quite a bit in that video, and if you've got any comments, say whether you like the video. It's a good idea for me to know who's watching, because you can come on, watch the video, and I never know who's watched it. So it's a really good idea if you comment, even if you just say, "Hi Ross, liked your video," or just say what you got from the video as well. That would be good. And ask me a question if there's anything that you need to know about teaching crochet to a group of children. I mean, the beauty of it is if you had a group of children or adults, I've taught adults in the same way. If you teach a group of people how to crochet, you would not be able to do the numbers I've done. I taught 19 children who were 16-year-olds, and I taught them by standing at the front of the classroom. They all had their crochet latch hooks and their yarn in front of them, and they were all doing the rhyme, and they were all learning all at once. So that's how it's done. So bye for now, and come back soon and see how we're getting on. Bye.